Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of Mrkent'S.com, and I decided I'd go out on my e-bike and put together another video and cover a few things that maybe some of my viewers are having questions about. First thing I want to talk about is my health issues. Okay, I'll put a link in the description and also at the end of the video on what the reason I got an e-trike, then that first video about that. And that particular day I was going in to get a biopsy on my right artery, going through temporal artery, they call it. It goes by your temple. Anyway, so I was going in to have a biopsy on that, and because they suspected that I had what they call arteritis, not arthritis, but arteritis is what they call it. There's another name for it too, but anyway, doesn't matter. It's a situation where, especially old guys, and I'm getting up there, they get inflammation in that artery. And then over a period of time, they get this headache that's worse and worse and worse and worse. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to stop and push this camera down a little bit so it doesn't flop so much. All right, make a better view for you. So I have this ailment called arteritis, and I was getting really bad headaches, and so we finally figured out. It took them a couple of doctors going through different steps to figure out what was going on, what was causing my headaches, and so finally they decided, okay, now there's a steroid, and it's I can see if I can remember the name, prednisone or prednisone, something like that. Anyway, it's a steroid, and it will kill the pain from the headache, and also it's supposed to heal the inflammation. And so they put me on this heavy diet of prednisone, and as the weeks went by, it was I was supposed to slowly decrease it, which it all worked out okay. And it started out with 50 milligrams a day, and went until we only had 5 milligrams a day. And so then the doctor, he's a really nice guy, a really good doctor. He decided, okay, you don't want to use steroids all your life because they have side effects. And I did notice one thing when I started taking that I would wake up at night, I wouldn't sleep so soundly. And so that's one thing I noticed, which is okay with me because I like to get up early anyway. And so then they kept saying, you don't want to keep taking it because there's a lot of side effects. I've been taking it now for about 5 months, coming up on 6 months, and I'm still trying to figure out if there are any side effects besides that one. But I guess there are. And then sometimes they say, well, in the long term, they start to show up. Well, I'm 82. How long is a long term? So, anyway, right now I'm taking 5 milligrams a day, which if I really don't have a headache, but if I do something that's kind of twisting me wrong, or staring at the tablet or the computer for a long period of time, I can kind of begin to feel that old feeling that I was having before we got this all figured out. And so day after tomorrow, I go into the doctor again, and we'll see what he thinks now. Because he tried to take me all the way off of it several weeks back, and as soon as we got off of the 5 milligrams, headache came right back. I mean, the very next day. And so I don't see how I can't just use it for the rest of my life. So anyway, now we're going on a ride here where, if you have been following my video very long, you've been on this ride with me. I like to go on it. It's a little more difficult on the trike than it is on the bike, but it's a nice ride. It's along the canal road here, as you can see. And so last time I tried to go along here, the ruts were pretty bad, but they're much better now. And let's see, I'll dodge this one over here. And with a bike, what you do is you look at where you want to go, and your system automatically steers the bike that direction, if you're not familiar with it. Anyway, so this is the route that I was riding, because it's one of my favorites, that I was riding when I crashed and dislocated my shoulder. And so, I think we'll probably stop up there where I dislocated my shoulder, and I'll just show you the spot, just because it's memorable to me. When I dislocated my shoulder, I think I've got a video. Anyway, yeah, when I crashed my bike. Anyway, then I still had to ride home 3 miles with an e-bike and a dislocated shoulder. So it was kind of an experience. So anyway, that's the way this ride goes. And also, I guess I finished my health thing. I'll go to the doctor in a couple of days. And as far as what I have learned, and if you've been following my last couple of videos, what I have learned is a better comparison of I'm dodging ruts here. Anyway, a better comparison. I can more accurately compare an e-bike with an e-trike. So, like for instance, I've been having a lot of fun riding this bike, and I think probably remember that video I was talking about. I was going in because I was having problems, and I thought, previous to that video, I was thinking maybe I should just not be riding my e-bike and get an e-trike, and that's why I got it. But as it turns out, I'm still okay to ride my e-bike. So now I've got 2 of them. Well, actually, now here's another thing, by the way. If you want to hear me, when I got that e-trike, my son used it to go get his son at the bus stop. It's rated for 400 pounds, and that's what's supposed to be distributed. Here we're coming down onto a different road here, and there's the canal ahead of us. We don't want to go in there. And so, there we go. Just coast down the hill. Anyway, and so, what was I going to say? This is the trouble of getting old. So, I got the trike, and my son carried him and my grandson both, and they were, my grandson rode standing on the axles back in the back. So now we got all this weight on the axles, and they did that several times and then finally gave up on that. So that wasn't good for it to begin with. And then secondly, I ran it through all kinds of tests. If you've been following my channel, I did everything I could, tried to tip it over and ride off a curb, and And so when the bearing did go out, I'm not going to blame electric bikes for it, because I think we put it through a heavy-duty test. And I had one comment from a guy that said he's not going to buy one of those bikes because they have trouble with that bearing. Well, most of the people, like 99%, don't have any trouble with it. It's the people who do things like I do. I think that maybe, riding double is not good for have all that weight on the axle. It's supposed to be evenly distributed between the front of the bike and the back of the bike. All right, so anyway, if you're in the market for an e-bike or an e-trike, here's a little summary of what I put together after riding this e-bike for a week or two. And that is, if you're older or a little disabled and trying to figure out how to get off the couch and get out and do something, if you're able to, like, if you would be able to, like, if instead of going to the gymnasium, I would get a bike, and then you don't have to pay for the gymnasium, and this bike will exercise your body a lot more than sitting on the couch and watching the boob tube. So if you're looking for something to get really good exercise, that would be an e-bike. If you're older and you really don't want a heavy-duty dose of exercise every time you go out on your bike, then get a trike, because that now gets you off the couch and outside. And a trike still gives you some circulation and exercise, but it's not heavy-duty exercise. It's a different, you're exercising your legs and your arms, and you're just not working really hard at it like you would trying to balance a bike. So basically, that's the difference if you're shopping for an e-vehicle. And I would suggest, watch some videos but if you just want something nice and easy to get exercise with, I would suggest an e-trike. If you're capable of doing a lot of exercises and you want good exercise, then a bike. Now a bike is different because you go faster, you go further, and you have more mobility, whereas a trike, they're best for paved roads, but I use them along these roads. Now we're coming up to a spot where I dislocated my shoulder, and I think it's right in, here it is up here. All right, yeah, because this is a low spot, and there was a whole lot of ruts like you see down over here. And it might have been back there a little, just about 20 or 30 feet. But anyway, it was right along in here. And basically, I won't go into why, but I had the tires didn't have enough pressure in the front tire. Okay, so anyway, but when it comes to picking your bike or your trike, a trike is good for getting outside, getting some exercise, and enjoying yourself and relaxing. And when you get home from a trike ride, you feel refreshed. When you get home from a bike ride, if you've done any bike, out riding, then you're refreshed, but you're also, you want to sit down and maybe have a glass of water or something. So anyway, as we sit here where I dislocated my shoulder, I think I've taken too much of your time already, and I want to thank you for following me along on my bike ride. I want to thank you for watching the video, and click on the one that takes you back to when I first talked about it's at the end of the video here, when I talked about the trike, and that's when I was just getting ready for all the headache stuff. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching my videos, and God bless.